Agriculture and Family Welfare, Shri Radha Mohan Singh Ji, Mr. Rakesh Mittal, Mr. Rajesh Shriram, Mr. Sachit Jain, Ministers, Excellencies, senior officials, friends from the farming community, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning and welcome to the 13th edition of the CII Agrotech India. Since its inception in 1994, CII Agrotech India has been a flagship agriculture exhibition which promotes farming technology across the country. Agrotech India is fully aligned with the Government of India's vision of doubling the farmers' incomes. It aims to ensure that innovation and technology drive the agri and food processing sector towards higher productivity and efficiency. We are indeed most honored by the participation of our Honorable President of India as a guiding beacon for agrotech. It is a privilege to have the dignitaries present here today in the August gathering of the Honorable Rashtrapati Ji. May I now request all of you to please welcome the Honorable Rashtrapati Ji to the Agrotech. I'd now like to invite Shri Ajay Shriram, a past president of CII and the chairman of the 13th edition of CII Agrotech India, to give his remarks.
Shri Ramnath Kovind Ji, Honorable President of India, Shri VP Singh Badnor, Honorable Governor of Punjab and Administrator, Union Territory Chandigarh, Shri Satyadev Narayan Arya, Honorable Governor of Haryana, Shri Manohar Lal Ji, Chief Minister of Haryana, Shri Radha Mohan Singh Ji, Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, Srimati Harsimrat Kaur Badal Ji, Honorable Minister of Food Processing Industries, Government of India, Shri Rakesh Mittal, Shri Sachit Jain, Shri Chandrajit Banerjee, Ministers, Excellencies, participants from India and overseas, ladies and gentlemen, and friends from the media, a very good morning to all of you. On behalf of CII and on my own personal behalf, I extend a very warm welcome to Shri Ramnath Kovind Ji, Honorable President of India. Sir, it is indeed a privilege and honor to have you in our midst today, and we thank you most sincerely for gracing the occasion. A very warm welcome to Srimati Harsimrat Kaur Badal Ji, Honorable Minister of Food Processing Industries, Government of India. Thank you, Madam, for your stellar presence. And also thank you for facilitating your ministry's partnership for this event. May I also take this opportunity to welcome Shri Radha Mohan Singh Ji, Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India. Sir, we are really grateful to you and your ministry for the valuable support and guidance that we received from time to time. Without your ministry's support, it would not have been possible for us to organize a fair and engage stakeholders at this magnitude. We keenly look forward to your insightful address. May I also take this opportunity to welcome the Chief Minister of Haryana and the Honorable Governor of Punjab and Administrator, Union Territory Chandigarh, and the Honorable Governor of Haryana, and thank all of them for their presence and immense support to CII in general and to the Agrotech 2018 in particular. Ladies and gentlemen, over the years, CII Agrotech India has evolved into a premier agro-technology and business platform. This show aims to bring together the agri-business community from all over the world. With technology in agriculture increasing farmer income as the theme, CII Agrotech India 2018 will focus on leveraging innovation and technology for sustainable development of the agricultural sector and for doubling farmers' income. The event will lay a special focus on farm equipment, processing technologies, agri-inputs, livestock management, and water and irrigation management through its concurrent shows. Spread over 16,000 square meters of space, the event has 195 exhibitors from 14 states and 8 countries, with 10 concurrent shows and 2 special pavilions. Partnerships has been the hallmark of the CII way of working. CII Agrotech 2018 also has many partnerships with government and private organizations, which has made the event possible on such a mega scale. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India, and Agricultural Processed Food Products Export Development Authority, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, are the partner ministries for this Agrotech. Punjab and Haryana are the host states. United Kingdom, China, and Canada are the participating countries. Farmers remain at the core of CII Agrotech India. During the 4 days of the fair, we are expecting around 50,000 farmers to visit the fair from neighboring states. There are special Kishan Goshtis scheduled on topics such as innovative farming practices, organic farming, commercial dairy farming, profitable fish farming, use of solar and biotechnology in the rural economy, and direct marketing of agricultural produce. In this edition of CII Agrotech 2018, a special roundtable with progressive farmers on increasing farmers' income is planned. The idea is to understand from farmers what is required to double their income in the medium term. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to thank the President of India for participating here today and all the dignitaries who've come for this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shri Ajay Shriram, for your warm welcome address and also for giving us a succinct insight into the 13th CII Agrotech India 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to now felicitate our esteemed guests, and to do the honors, may I firstly request Mr. Rakesh Bharti Mittal, President of CII, to kindly felicitate Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovindji. Thank you, Honorable President, for your gracious presence. Thank you. May I now request Mr. Sachit Jain, Chairman of CII Northern Region, to kindly felicitate Shri VP Singh Badnor, Honorable Governor, Punjab and Administrator, Union Territory of Chandigarh. A very warm welcome to you. May I now request Mr. Ajay Shriram, Chairman, CII Agrotech 2018, to kindly welcome Shri Satyadev Narayan Arya, Honorable Governor of Haryana. Thank you. May I once again request Mr. Sachit Jain, Chairman of CII Northern Region, to kindly felicitate Mr. Manohar Lal, Honorable Chief Minister of Haryana. Thank you. I would like to now request Shri Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of CII, to kindly felicitate Srimati Harsimrat Kaur Badal, Honorable Minister for Food Processing Industries, Government of India. A very warm welcome to you, Madam. Thank you. May I once again request Mr. Ajay Shriram to kindly felicitate Shri Radha Mohan Singh, Honorable Minister for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India. Thank you. With this, we conclude the felicitation ceremony. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Rakesh Bharti Mittal, President of CII, and request him to kindly address us.
Respected Rashtrapati Ji, Honorable Governors, Chief Minister, Ministers, my friends on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Let me at the outset also extend a very warm welcome to each one of you on this very prestigious flagship event of CII, the 13th Agritech 2018. As we all know, agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy and primary source of income for almost 2/3 of agriculture rural households. Second in global production of fruits and vegetables, first in milk, pulses, and many other farming crops, India is also a leading exporter of agri-products as well. In the past, the strategies for the sector have always been focused on food security. And I think it's extremely important that we must celebrate India feeding its population of 1.3 billion, taking care of 1/6 of the world, itself is contributing immensely to the food security globally. A new approach to farming is now increasingly taking shape, and it is now being looked at as a source of wealth creation. More importantly, the farmers are also now changing their supply-led agriculture to demand-led agriculture. As we see people moving above the poverty line, the middle-income families earning more, and therefore you go in for a second meal or a high nutrition products which get consumed today. The government is working towards doubling the farmers' income by 2022. This is Prime Minister Modi's vision, and CII is contributing immensely in this journey, along with the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Food Processing. I must also say that today's new age farmer is increasingly becoming an entrepreneur who wants to leverage technology, who wants to synergize the complex information and ensure that those decisions help in increasing farm productivity. We compliment the Ministry of Agriculture for introducing ease of doing agriculture as a performance index for states. And I would like to actually mention CII has already made a recommendation that the states need to we need to start a ranking of states on the lines of ease of doing business, on ease of doing agri reforms. I think the states now need to start competing on how can we really bring value and benefit the farmers at large. Let me quickly put a few suggestions on dynamic agriculture sector. The first one is legalization of long-term leasing of land, which I believe can improve agriculture efficiency. Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh are amongst the few states who have already legislated the lease of agriculture land on long tenure basis, with completely giving protection to the farmer. No ownership rights will be transferred and no tenancy rights to the lessees. I also believe if we start doing this, it will help in attracting large investments from the private sector, which will infuse farm technology and farming techniques, which exactly will bring what the Prime Minister's vision is. How can we start looking at more production, more high-value crops for the farmers, and hence increasing their income levels. The second, government should look at incentivizing states to adopt the Model Agriculture Produce and Livestock Marketing Act 2017 for better price discovery and higher income for farmers. CII is working in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture for strengthening ENAM, the electronic markets, particularly for trading of horticulture produce. Third, I also believe higher participation of private sector in food processing and farming activities will ensure that we start building the back-end cold chain, supply chain, which will help in reducing wastages and also bring agri-products and processed food items, which will be better in quality for the consumers. We are continuously working on R&D and innovation, and more importantly, international standards and certifications for the agri-products for exports. Fourth, we also need to link farmer-producer organizations with food processing clusters. CII's Food and Agriculture Center of Excellence, FACE, conducts many activities to increase farm productivity via the cluster model. 5, the use of remote sensing technology for crop forecasts, crop acreage, and production estimates, pest management needs to be stepped up to ensure that we get the right cropping patterns and reduce the losses due to certain parameters, either it's on natural calamities or natural disasters. CII, in partnership with Ministry of Agriculture and the National Crop Forecasting Center, is working to put up action plan around this. I'm extremely happy that CII Agrotech Summit this year focuses on the theme of technology in agriculture, growing farmers' wealth. And the next couple of days, different panels, discussions will ensure a very positive outcome in how to synergize the private sector's efforts along with the farmers in the farming sector to ensure that we not only look at increasing farmers' income, but also benefiting the consumer at the other end. Let me extend my best wishes to all the stakeholders on this 13th edition of Agrotech India. Thank you very much.
In the recent years, a number of initiatives have been taken by the central government for catalyzing agriculture and making markets more dynamic. With that, may I now request and invite Shri Radha Mohan Singh Ji, the Honorable Minister for Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare, for his special address.
चार दिवसीय एग्रोटेक 2018 के अवसर पर हम सबों के मध्य उपस्थित देश के महामहिम राष्ट्रपति सम्माननीय श्री रामनाथ कोविंद जी, महामहिम राज्यपाल श्री सत्यनारायण आर्य जी, महामहिम राज्यपाल सम्माननीय बीपी सिंह जी, इस राज्य के हरियाणा राज्य के सम्माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी, भारत सरकार के फूड एंड प्रोसेसिंग मिनिस्टर श्रीमती हरसिमरत कौर बादल जी, CII के सम्माननीय DG चंद्रजीत बनर्जी जी, चेयरपर्सन CII एग्रो अजय कुमार श्री राम जी, CII के सम्माननीय अध्यक्ष मित्तल जी, मंच पर बैठे सम्माननीय संजीत जैन जी, इस सभागार में उपस्थित सभी भाइयों बहनों का मैं हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं, आपका अभिनंदन करता हूं। एग्रोटेक जो देश के एग्रीकल्चर टेक्नोलॉजी आधारित चुनिंदा व्यापारिक मेले में से एक है। मैं आज यहाँ देश विदेश से आए हुए सभी प्रदर्शकों, किसानों, कृषि व्यवसाय, खाद्य कंपनियों, राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कृषि अनुसंधानों के विशेषज्ञों, कृषि क्षेत्र से जुड़े आदान प्रदाताओं, वित्तीय संस्थानों, ग्रामीण इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर विकासकर्ताओं, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कृषि संगठनों के प्रतिनिधियों को एक छत के नीचे देखकर काफ़ी प्रसन्नता हो रही है। और सबसे बड़ी प्रसन्नता इस बात की हो रही है कि हम सबों को महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी का मार्गदर्शन मिलने वाला है। कृषि मंत्री के नाते मैं सौभाग्यशाली हूँ कि पिछले कुछ वर्षों से देश के विभिन्न कोने में महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी का मार्गदर्शन कृषि के क्षेत्र में काम करने वालों को मिल रहा है। निश्चित रूप से मैं देश के किसानों की ओर से महामहिम जी के प्रति आदर भाव प्रकट करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। मुझे जैसा बताया गया है कि 16,000 वर्ग मीटर के क्षेत्र में फैले इस मेले में कई देश अपनी तकनीकियों का प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं। मुझे यह भी बताया गया है कि इस मेले में वैज्ञानिक प्रबंधन के माध्यम से व्यावसायिक पशुपालन, धान का पुआल, पराली प्रबंधन, औषधीय सुगंधित पौधों सहित स्वदेशी पशु नस्लों से सतत डेयरी फार्मिंग, फिशरी आदि कई विषयों पर किसान गोष्ठियों का भी आयोजन होने वाला है। यही नहीं, इस मेले के माध्यम से आज यहाँ 5 देशों के सर्वश्रेष्ठ तकनीकों का भी प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। अतः यह जो 14वां एग्रोटेक मेला है वो संपूर्ण कृषि क्षेत्र की बेस्ट और नेक्स्ट की जानकारी का एक उत्तम स्रोत होगा, ऐसा मुझे पूरा विश्वास है। भाइयों और बहनों, आज देश के अंदर खाद्यान्न उत्पादन की चुनौती को देश के किसानों ने स्वीकार किया है। उनकी मानसिकता हरित क्रांति के पश्चात पूरी तरह से बदल गई है। बढ़ती जनसंख्या, जलवायु परिवर्तन, खाने की आदतों में बदलाव, अधिक निवेश, घटती हुई जोतों की संख्या और मंडी संवेदनशीलता जैसी बाधाओं के कारण कृषि क्षेत्र में दबाव लगातार बढ़ रहा है। खाद्य उत्पादन में महत्वपूर्ण सफलता हमारी उत्पादन केंद्रित योजनाओं का परिणाम है, किंतु मोदी सरकार ने स्वामीनाथन जी के सुझावों के आधार पर सबसे पहला काम तो ये किया कि कृषि मंत्रालय का नाम किसान कल्याण मंत्रालय किया और आय केंद्रित योजनाओं का निर्माण किया, और न सिर्फ निर्माण किया बल्कि उसका तेजी से क्रियान्वयन भी किया। कृषि के साथ ही एलाइड सेक्टर में भी महत्वपूर्ण बदलाव करके श्वेत क्रांति, नीली क्रांति जैसे रिवोल्यूशन को मिशन मोड में प्रारंभ हुआ, और इसका परिणाम हम देखेंगे कि हमारी सरकार के आने के पहले यदि इस देश में दूध का उत्पादन 137 मिलियन टन था तो 4 वर्षों में 176 मिलियन टन हुआ है, जो 28% की वृद्धि दर्शाता है। इसी तरह से मत्स्यिकी के क्षेत्र में यदि देखेंगे तो हमारी सरकार आने के पहले 4 वर्षों में 355 लाख टन उत्पादन हुआ था, तो 4 वर्षों के अंदर 450 लाख टन यानी लगभग 27% वृद्धि हुई। और इसका कारण भी है कि इसमें निवेश भी किया है। यदि हमारी सरकार आने के पहले 4 वर्षों में औसत निवेश जो होता था वो 200 करोड़ के लगभग का होता था, और इस 4 साल के अंदर ये 450 करोड़ का औसत वार्षिक निवेश हो रहा है। किसानों की आमदनी बढ़े, इस दृष्टि से सबसे पहले हमारी सरकार ने जो बजटीय निवेश है उसको बढ़ाया। यदि हमारी सरकार आने के पहले 5 वर्षों का जो बजटीय निवेश सिर्फ कृषि मंत्रालय का था, फूड प्रोसेसिंग, इरिगेशन को यदि छोड़ दें तो सिर्फ एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री का जो बजटीय निवेश था वो 1,21,000 करोड़ का था, जो 4 वर्षों में बढ़कर 2,11,000 करोड़ हो गया। और इतना ही नहीं तो पहली बार बजटीय निवेश के अलावे कॉर्पस फंड का निर्माण किया गया। देश की 99 बड़ी लंबित परियोजनाओं को पूरा करने के लिए सरकार बनते 40,000 करोड़ का लॉन्ग टर्म कॉर्पस फंड का निर्माण किया गया। माइक्रो इरिगेशन के लिए बजटीय निवेश के अलावे 5,000 करोड़ का कॉर्पस फंड बनाया गया। डेयरी प्रोसेसिंग एंड डेवलपमेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड के लिए 10,881 करोड़ का फंड बनाया गया। इसी तरह से फिशरी एंड एक्वाकल्चर के लिए 7,500 का करोड़ निवेश, बजटीय निवेश के अलावा हमारी सरकार ने कॉर्पस फंड का भी निर्माण किया। और स्वामीनाथन जी ने जो 2006 में जो रिपोर्ट दी थी और उस रिपोर्ट को ठंडे बस्ते में रखा गया था, उसको मोदी सरकार आने के बाद प्रधानमंत्री जी के कुशल निर्देश में ये मिशन मोड में देश में चालू किया गया। लेकिन इस संबंध में यदि मैं कुछ कहूँगा तो कुछ लोगों को लगेगा कि अपने सरकार की प्रशंसा कर रहे हैं, लेकिन 6 अगस्त के टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया को लेख को आप पढ़ेंगे तो उसके पैराग्राफ 6 में स्वामीनाथन जी ने खुद लिखा है कि यद्यपि मोदी सरकार आने के पहले 2006 में ही हमने राष्ट्रीय किसान आयोग के 200-100 सिफारिशें सरकार को दी, लेकिन मोदी सरकार के आने के पहले इस पर कम काम हुआ। देश सौभाग्यशाली है कि मोदी सरकार आने के बाद उन योजनाओं का क्रियान्वयन तेजी से हुआ है। ये उनके शब्द हैं। और आज का भी यदि आप अखबार पढ़ेंगे, मैं विस्तार में नहीं जाना चाहता, तो आज का भी आप हिंदुस्तान अखबार उठाकर पढ़ेंगे, जिसमें चेन्नई से उनका एक बयान छपा है। उसमें लिखते हैं, जो न्यूज है उसमें लिखा है कि कृषि वैज्ञानिक ने कहा, यानी स्वामीनाथन जी ने कहा, ऊपर उनका जिक्र है, उनका स्टेटमेंट है कि दुर्भाग्य से जब 2007 में राष्ट्रीय किसान नीति संबंधी रिपोर्ट पेश की गई थी, तब उस समय की सरकार ने कोई कदम नहीं उठाया। उन्होंने कहा, मुझे अफसोस है कि चुनावी राजनीति में कई प्रकार के नारों को ज़्यादा महत्व दिया गया। स्वामीनाथन ने कहा कि किसान आंदोलन कृषि अशांति का सबूत है और वे इस निष्कर्ष पर पहुंच गए हैं कि तार्किकता से नहीं बल्कि सक्रिय भूमिका से ही उनकी समस्याओं के हल के लिए कदम उठाए जाएंगे। अब दो चार मैं उदाहरण बताना चाहूँगा। स्वामीनाथन जी ने किसानों की आमदनी बढ़ाने के लिए राष्ट्रीय बाजार की कल्पना की थी, वो ठंडे बस्ते में था। स्वामीनाथन जी ने सॉइल हेल्थ मैनेजमेंट की बात की थी, वो ठंडे बस्ते में था, पूरे देश में कोई मानक नहीं था। जैविक खेती की बात की थी, सुरक्षा कवच प्रदान करने की बात की थी। देश के किसान सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि देश को एक ऐसा जीवन प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में मिला जो जीवन गरीबी को, गांव के गरीबी के किसानों को, दुर्दशा की गाथा को सुना नहीं था, पढ़ा नहीं था, बल्कि गांव गली गलियारों में जीवन का बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा गुजारकर खेत के मेड़ से लेके चाय की दुकान से लेकर प्लेटफार्म तक जिंदगी बिताई थी। और उसका परिणाम हुआ कि एक ऐसा जीवन राष्ट्र को मिला जो संपूर्ण जीवन राष्ट्र के लिए समर्पित है। आज किसानों की बदहाली की खबरें आती हैं, स्वाभाविक है, लेकिन अभी 10 साल पहले या 2007 में ही स्वामीनाथन के सुझाए हुए सारी योजनाओं को यदि लागू कर दिया गया होता तो आज किसानों की ये स्थिति नहीं होती। मैं हरियाणा की सरकार को, सम्मानीय मुख्यमंत्री जी बैठे हैं, बधाई दूंगा कि आपने कृषि बाजार की सबसे पहल प्रधानमंत्री जी के आह्वान पर किया। आपने समर्थन मूल्य जो हमने 1.5 गुना घोषित किया। स्वामीनाथन जी ने कहा था कि लागत से 1.5 गुना, पहले मुश्किल से 24 जो जिन्स हैं, 8-9 जिन्सों की कीमत लागत से 1.5 गुना था। देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि देश के खजाने पर पहला अधिकार देश के किसानों का है और जितने भी जिन्स नोटिफाइड हैं उनके समर्थन मूल्य को लागत से 1.5 गुना किया। हमारी सरकार की प्राथमिकता गांव गरीब किसान को मजबूत बनाना है, चूंकि स्पष्ट सोच है कि जब तक गांव मजबूत नहीं होगा, किसान मजबूत नहीं होगा, तब तक देश मजबूत नहीं होगा। और इसीलिए प्रधानमंत्री जी के कुशल नेतृत्व में हम ज़्यादा निवेश कर रहे हैं। और नई टेक्नोलॉजी यदि इस देश के अंदर एक राज्य गुजरात नई टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग करके देश का कृषि के मामले में नंबर 1 का राज्य बन सकता है तो पूरा देश क्यों नहीं बन सकता है। देश सौभाग्यशाली है कि जिसका लाभ, जिसके मार्गदर्शन का लाभ, एग्रीकल्चर में न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी का लाभ जिस प्रकार से गुजरात ने लिया, पिछले 4.5 वर्षों से देश के अंदर किसानों के बीच नई टेक्नोलॉजी, कुशल मानव संसाधन के लिए समर्पित मोदी सरकार बड़ी तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहा है और उसके परिणाम भी प्रकट हो रहे हैं। और पूरा विश्वास है कि 2022 आते आते निश्चित रूप से किसानों की आमदनी दुगुनी होगी। जिस प्रकार से लाइट सेक्टर में भी और एग्रीकल्चर के सेक्टर में भी नई टेक्नोलॉजी की ओर जो पूरा देश आगे बढ़ा है, और CII के इस आयोजन के लिए मैं आभारी हूं कि आपने इस दिशा में किसानों की आमदनी बढ़ाने का एक सफल औजार के रूप में काम कर रहे हैं। और अंत में पुनः मैं राष्ट्रपति जी के प्रति आभार प्रकट करते हुए कि आप समय समय पर लगातार देश के कोने कोने में किसानों से संबंधित कार्यक्रमों में जाकर आपका मार्गदर्शन मिलता है हम सबको, इसके लिए आपके प्रति विशेष आभार प्रकट करते हुए और आयोजक को धन्यवाद देते हुए कि आपने एक छत के नीचे सबको बुलाया, अपनी बात समाप्त करता हूं।
बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय मंत्री जी। Thank you very much for your participation and for your address. Ladies and gentlemen, the food processing sector has received a very strong impetus through many innovative initiatives like the Mega Food Park or Sampada program and of course the landmark World Food India. With that, may I now request and invite Srimati Harsimrat Kaur Badal ji, the Honorable Minister for Food Processing Industries, Government of India, for her special address.
Honorable Rashtrapati ji, Honorable Governors of Punjab and Haryana present here, Honorable Chief Minister Haryana, my colleague Radha Mohan Singh ji, dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor to be here and to be the partner ministry for this agrotech event organized by CII. I once again take this opportunity not only to thank Rashtrapati ji for being here, who has always participated in all those causes which champion rural India and especially the farmers. His presence at World Food India gave it a great fillip and a great stretcher, and I'm glad that he is here again. I thank him for this. I'm also extremely happy about the fact that if the farmers of India have played a very critical role in ensuring that there is enough food to feed the billions of our people and this growing population, while the farmer has worked hard, technology, farming techniques have all ensured that we are now a self-sufficient nation as far as food is concerned, and not just self-sufficient, but we're one of the leading producers of food in the world. As was mentioned by Mr. Banerjee, number 1 in the production of milk, number 2 in the production of fruits, vegetables, cereals, marine, fish, meat. The farmers are doing an extremely good job. And I think the time now is of the food processing sector, which is going to act as a catalyst and a leverage to ensure what the farmer is producing is now processed and preserved to ensure more food for more people in this ever-growing population of the world and especially of our country. I am glad that the food processing sector is taking a center stage. It's not just the big industry that is involved in the food processing sector, but it's time now that the farmers too work towards value addition of what they are growing on the farm to ensure better remuneration for themselves and for their produce. I'm also happy about the fact that how the industry plays a critical role in ensuring not just better prices, but also for helping the farmer, enabling the farmer to get know-how of better technologies and better farming techniques with direct linkages between the farmer and the industry. So I truly believe that the more this food processing sector grows, the more it's going to benefit the farmers in terms of technology, know-how with the contact and the partnerships which will take place between them. It will give the farmer more avenues to sell his produce. It will also ensure that there is less wastage in a country of a growing population where, according to a study in my ministry, almost 1 lakh crores worth of produce gets wasted every year due to poor harvesting techniques, transportation techniques, storage techniques. And these are all techniques that we can imbibe and learn from countries who have progressed in this sector, and which I feel is where the industry is going to play a very important role. So it's going to bring down the wastage, it's going to benefit the farmers, and the fruit processing sector happens to be one of the largest generators of employment. So a young India with 65% of the population under the age of 35 looking for job security, this is an avenue which holds the maximum promise, which is why I thank our Honorable Prime Minister, who understood the catalytic role that this ministry can play and actually made it into a full-fledged minister's portfolio only to look at this sector. And with all the support that the government has given to this ministry, whether it is the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, Sampada stands for supplement agriculture, modernize processing and decrease agri-waste. This being the prime focus with 7 umbrella schemes under it, be it mega food parks for the big industry with a hub and spoke model where you create common infrastructure with other units can just come and plug and play, and without having to put in that entire amount of funds into creating an entire food processing industry of your own, because being a seasonal industry, it's more expensive than any other industry. So 1 mega food park scheme, the second being our cold chain scheme, where we're working to make a cold chain grid throughout the country for seamless transfer of food from production to consumption. The third new scheme which the ministry came up with last year was a mini food park scheme, which is called a cluster scheme, where we have mapped the entire India where there is agro-produce clusters, and we're trying to put in small mini food parks of 5 units with common infrastructure for all those agri-produce of that area. Then there is a unit scheme for people wanting to set up units in our mini food parks or the mega food parks. We offer them an incentive to set up units to populate these parks. Then we have something which directly benefits the farmers at the grassroots level, be it a single farmer or a group of farmers, call the backward or the forward linkage. Anyone wanting to get into food processing, whether it's a farmer who wants to now start processing and retailing, that's the forward linkage, he can get a subsidy. Whether it's a small processor who now wants to start growing it and wants to start retailing it, that's the backward and the forward linkage, he too can get a subsidy. And if it's a retailer who now wants to start processing and producing and open up a chain of stores, he too can get a subsidy. So we have tried that, be it food testing labs, or be it a small farmer, or be it a medium-sized industrialist or a mega industrialist, there's something in our Sampada scheme which caters to everybody. The 6,000 crores of Sampada which is going to be spent by 2020 is going to leverage at least 31,000 crores of further investment in the food processing sector, which is going to process agri-produce of almost 1 lakh crores, which used to get wasted. We're creating infrastructure to process agri-produce of 1 lakh crores, which is going to benefit at least 25 lakh farmers and create over 5 lakh jobs. So over the last 4.5 years, whereas our government and my ministry has focused on creating infrastructure to increase the processing levels, which are barely 10% when we started off at 2014, to jump much higher in the coming years, and by ensuring grounding of our food parks, whether of our 42 food parks, where we had 2 when we took over, we now have 15 which are ready and another 15 which will be ready in another few months. Whether it's our cold chains, where we had 86 of them which were operational, today we have 175 which are already grounded. Whether it's our cluster scheme, our unit scheme, our backward forward linkage scheme, the new scheme which was launched just last May, are already being grounded on the ground. While we worked on one side to create the infrastructure, and our universities of NIFTM, which is the only food processing technology and entrepreneurship management institute in entire India, and IIFPT down south, worked to create the youth that is going to feed this food processing sector and impart them the education and the skills to meet up with the demand. At the same time, we came up with a number of policy decisions, whether it's reducing the taxes or whether it's giving concessional duties for importing of machinery. But I think the most revolutionary and the dynamic thing which made the difference on the ground was allowing 100% FDI and multi-brand retail of food that is produced and manufactured in India, which led to all the big giants of the country coming into the food sector, food marketing and retail sector in India. And big names from all across the globe are now opening up in India and providing new avenues for the farmers to directly partner and sell to the big stores. World Food India was one of the flagship things undertaken by this ministry to showcase to the world that India has the produce. We have now got the infrastructure. We have now opened up our markets, and we were keen to collaborate with the world to bring in the best of the technology, the best of the know-how, and the best of the partnerships. World Food India 2017 in November led to almost 75,000 participants across 61 countries and $14 billion of MOUs that were signed in those 3 days, where I'm happy to announce that 70% of them have already started grounding, and we're personally monitoring each and every one of them to see that they don't just remain on paper, but the grounding is actually done. I'm grateful to the government that we are also focusing on 3 main crops of tomato, onion, and potato, which is a staple in almost every Indian household. The Prime Minister has given 500 crores just to focus on these 3 crops to create infrastructure to ensure that there is less wastage, to control the price volatility and ensure the farmers get proper remuneration for these 3 crops, and that scheme too is being grounded. We've also been working on creating a financial institution which will specially fund the food processing sector, because this is a sector which is growing at such a fast pace. Out of the $600 billion retail sector that we have in India, 70% of it is food retail, which is set to treble by 2020, and the demand for food is going to go up by 50% over the next 5 years. So when there is a growth like that, we need an institution which caters to this particular food processing sector, which normal banks find a very risky sector and do not fund it the way the funds are required for this sector. So It's in the final stages, it's in the cabinet, hopefully should be passed very soon, and we hope to have our own fund, which is going to be especially for the food processing sector to ensure that we can leverage it and put it up to the optimum level. I'm also happy to announce over here that we will be having a new scheme which is going to be funded by the World Bank. We have been sanctioned 3,000 crores, which is especially going to be for the small players up to a limit of 10 lakhs. And that, I think, is really going to transform at the ground level what is going to happen in the food processing sector, and which brings me to the fact that why is agri-tech so important, that we need fairs like this to happen all across the state, where farmers can come and see what is happening and learn from the experiences not only of what goes on in the other states, but also what is going on in the other countries. I will take this opportunity to appeal to both the ministers of Punjab and Haryana, because these two states being the food bowl of India, which given the maximum contribution as far as wheat and rice is concerned, we have very progressive farmers who can be the torch bearers like they were in the Green Revolution, also to ensure from just growing how to become into a food processor, that if these two governments could ensure that fairs like this and fairs like World Food India are attended by all farmers across their states, by giving them concessional fares on the public transport, I think it would really transform the impact on the ground, because I have a ministry which is giving them the support and the subsidy. If we have fairs like World Food India and Agritech, which is attended by the people, by the farmers on the ground who are going to transform this sector, it can actually play an extremely important role. So I would once again congratulate CII for the 13th edition that they have done. And I can assure you that we will work together to give you all the support that we can and ensure that everything that is showcased over here or in World Food India, we come up with ways and methods to ensure it reaches the farmer on the ground so that we can transform his life and ensure a better India and a better future for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for touching upon some of the landmark initiatives and also talking about the way ahead in the partnership between the agri and the farm sector and the food processing industries. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, it's now my privilege and honor to invite our chief guest, the Honorable Rashtrapati Ji, Shri Ramnath Kovind, for his inaugural address.
Governor of Punjab and Administrator of Union Territory, Chandigarh, Sri B.P. Singh Badnoor ji, Governor of Haryana, Sri Satyadev Narayan Arya ji, Chief Minister of Haryana, Sri Manohar Lal Khattar ji, Union Minister for Food Processing Industries, Srimati Harshimrat Kaur ji, Union Minister for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Sri Radha Mohan Singh ji, Chairman Agrotech India 2018, Sri Ajay S. Sri Ram ji, President CII, Sri Rakesh Bharti Mittal ji, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am glad to be in Chandigarh and in this region of hard-working farmers and enormous agricultural legacies and achievements. I would like to congratulate the organizers of Agrotech India 2018, the Confederation of Indian Industry, in partnership with the Union Ministries of Agriculture and of Food Processing Industries, the governments of Punjab and Haryana, and other institutions. This event is a celebration of agriculture. It brings together farmers and industry, as well as farm technologists and innovators from across the country and abroad. The importance of Agrotech India is apparent from the sheer number of exhibitions. 158 from India and 37 from other countries. I would particularly like to welcome international participants who have arrived from 5 continents and some 20 countries. I am happy to learn of full-fledged country pavilions being put up by Canada, China, and the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, agriculture is more than just a profession. It is a calling, a tradition, and a way of life. Agriculture has been central to Indian identity for thousands of years, ever since our ancestors planted grains in the Indus Valley. Even today, agriculture employs 50% of our workforce and makes up about 15% of our nation's gross value added, that is GVA. The selfless efforts of our farmers have contributed to national development and security and to the well-being of our people. Initiatives such as the Green Revolution, which was carried out with such determination in Punjab, Haryana, and neighboring states, have helped convert a country of chronic food shortages and imports to a food surplus economy. This was possible due to visionary policy makers, ingenious agricultural scientists, and above all, farmers who gave their sweat and toil. Today, India is a leading producer of several food commodities: cereals, fruits, vegetables, milk, eggs, and fish. In the crop year 2017-18, food grain production has reached 284.83 million tons, a new record. Horticulture output is even higher. High-value crops are increasingly being produced. Agricultural growth has improved not just food security but also nutritional security. In turn, this has led to health and cognitive benefits for younger generations and strengthened our human capital. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indian farmer has proven to be remarkably adaptable, unafraid of innovation, new techniques, and scientific inputs. The Indian farmer has been bold in embracing risk and converting risk into opportunity. As a result, India has emerged as an exporter of key agricultural and allied products such as rice, marine products, fruits, vegetables, and even flowers. Our farmers supply commercial crops like cotton to the rest of the world. The challenge is to scale up. Indian agriculture needs a renewal of its marriage with contemporary technology, protection against climate change, price fluctuations, and demand shocks, and sustained investment by the partnership with businesses. Together, these will enhance agricultural value and competitiveness, as well as lead to better incomes. Indeed, these are the areas on which the government has been focusing. Take, for example, the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. It was started way back in 2015 with the objective of Har Khet Ko Pani and more crop per drop. Its twin objective was not just to provide more water, but also to extract more value out of every unit and every drop of water. So far, the Yojana has covered about 1 million hectares. Similarly, the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana for crop insurance has provided a safety net to about 25 million farmers. These are only a start. In the years to come, we have to cover more farmers and more farmland. The government is working towards greater efficiency in agricultural markets. These will give our farmers access to a wider customer base and allow them to get better prices. In 2016, India inaugurated the National Agricultural Market, or ENAM, as an online platform for buying and selling agricultural commodities. This platform has linked farmers, traders, and buyers across India. In addition, 22,000 rural haats have been set up or are being upgraded to Grameen agricultural markets to facilitate better deals for the farmers. Incentives have been provided for farmer producer organizations. Schemes such as the Mudra Yojana and Startup India are enabling small farmers to venture into food processing at a local and micro level. All this is leading to a positive churn in the Indian agricultural space. I am particularly happy at progress being made in connecting farming to food processing under various heads and through various programs. The link between agriculture and industry must be strengthened for a seamless value chain and minimal wastage. To this end, 42 mega food parks are being set up and 228 integrated cold chain projects are underway in different parts of India. Ladies and gentlemen, through human history, agriculture has moved ahead with cross-fertilization. Bringing together different types of seeds or plants with different properties has fostered innovation and led to greater farm productivity and prosperity. By permitting this process, nature holds a lesson for us. It tells us that agriculture is the ideal stage for partnerships, for symbiosis, and for mutual learning and sharing. Partnerships can be formed across sectors and across geographies. In previous decades, manufacturing and mechanization have been of appreciable utility to agriculture. Today, a strong relationship is emerging between agriculture and the services sector. Biotechnology, nanotechnology, data science, remote sensing imaging, autonomous aerial and ground vehicles, and artificial intelligence hold the key to generating more value for agriculture. Geographically, too, farmers are learning from other farmers and other farming cultures within the country and across continents. While absolute numbers in India are impressive, there is a gap that our agriculture needs to fill in terms of higher productivity and checking wastage in the farm-to-fork value chain. This is where the experience and expertise of other countries can be very useful. I am confident that AgroTech India 2018 will promote specific partnerships that will benefit India's farmers. There are 3 areas in which participants at this event can build fruitful associations. First, the Indian agriculture sector is still at an early stage of technology adoption. Many of our farmers have limited access to mechanized tools, let alone to cutting-edge knowledge. Technology-based applications and services can help unlock economic impact in agriculture and help farmers get more for their labor and their produce. Second, public-private partnerships in agriculture have the potential to modernize the sector and provide numerous benefits to small farmers. PPPs can be instrumental in developing agricultural value chains, conducting joint research that focus on innovation, building market infrastructure, and delivering business development services to farmers. Third, we must boost Indian investments in agriculture R&D. While the National Agriculture Research System played a major role in the Green Revolution, recent years have not seen a major breakthrough. Many inputs are needed for that major breakthrough. More resources, including from private players, are certainly among them. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one other subject I would like to touch upon. The farmers of this region are a matter of pride for our country. Progressive farmers of Punjab and Haryana have never shied away from a challenge and a responsibility to larger society. Today we are facing a problem related to disposal of crop residue and of safe and clean removal of husk or stubble. In an extreme form, the burning of such item is leading to pollution that affects even little children. It is for all of us, including the state governments, the skilled and large-hearted farmers, and other stakeholders to come up with a solution. And no doubt, technology will help us find a solution. I am sure that Agrotech India 2018 will discuss all such issues and come up with practicable and definite outcomes. I wish the organizers and participants all the very best. Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Hind.
Thank you, Honorable Rashtrapati Ji, for those most insightful remarks. May I now request Mr. Sachit Jain to propose a vote of thanks, please.
Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind Ji, Honorable Governors, Honorable Union Ministers, Honorable Chief Minister of Haryana, my colleagues from CII, delegates, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all of you again from my side. I am honored, sir, to have the opportunity to propose the formal vote of thanks. First and foremost, I would like to thank Shri Ramnath Kovind Ji, Honorable President of India, for the very inspirational and insightful address. Application of technology, coupled with improved market linkages, truly hold the key for sustainable growth in the agricultural sector. We in CII fully subscribe the goal to achieve doubling the farmers' income by 2022. Sir, also regarding stubble burning, CII is already working on a pilot project in Punjab on an experimental basis, and we have shown good results from that. Hopefully, this can be taken forward in the times to come. We are grateful, sir, for your presence and participation, and we would leave no stone unturned to make these dreams come true. My special thanks to Shri Radha Mohan Singh Ji, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Government of India. It wouldn't have been possible to build a show of this scale without his support and guidance.
Over a period of time, and those who are deepening their engagement in this land. The CII's India Business Forum represents all the leading companies that are operating here in Australia. The primary objective of the India Business Forum is to maintain a constant flow of information amongst the Indian industry members regarding their activities in Australia and engage with our two governments. The IBF, the India Business Forum for Australia, also proposes to have regular dialogue with all stakeholders in Australia and in India and raise issues which would be pertinent to the industry. The forum also exists in other countries, in the US, in UK, China, Singapore, Egypt, and South Africa. Today, we are proud to add Australia to this growing list of companies. We look forward to working with both the Indian and Australian governments to further Indian industry's agenda in Australia. I'd like to invite at this point in time onto the dais to join in this launch of the India Business Forum, the Excellency our Dr. A. Gandane, the High Commissioner of India to Australia, Mr. Rakesh Bharti Mittal, the President of CII, and Mr. D.D. Saxena, the first chair of the IBF Australia. Mr. Saxena is the founder, managing director of the Riverina Oils and Bioenergy in Australia, and the High Commissioner has kindly agreed to be the patron of the India Business Forum.
On the celebrated occasion of the first ever state visit by any Indian president since Indian independence to Australia, I have the pleasure of inviting His Excellency Mr. Ramnath Kovind to deliver his address.
His Excellency Prime Minister of Australia, Mr. Scott Morrison, Editor-in-Chief of the Australian Financial Review, Mr. Michael Stutchbury, distinguished ministers, captains of Australian industry, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I am happy to be here to speak at the Australian Financial Review India Business Summit. I thank the organizers for the invitation to address Australia's leading business persons and thought leaders. This is my first visit to your country in my capacity as the President of India, and I am thankful too for the wonderful reception accorded by the Governor General, the Prime Minister, and the government and the people of Australia. Coming to this beautiful city and savoring its scenic harbor, it has been easy to understand why people are so quickly charmed by Sydney and by Australia. I must acknowledge the presence of Prime Minister Scott Morrison. We met this morning and had a meaningful conversation. I appreciate his leadership of Australia and commitment to the relationship with India, as well as his encouraging words on the recently released India Economic Strategy. About a week ago in Singapore, he met our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, and my visit takes forward our dialogue, discussion, and cooperation. I gather that Prime Minister Morrison has a taste for Indian food and in fact cooks many curry. I am sure he can help us come up with a recipe for even better Australia-Indian relations. Australia and India are united by a history of shared sacrifice on the beaches of Gallipoli, a shared vision for the peace and prosperity of a free, open, and rules-based Indo-Pacific region, a shared instinct for entrepreneurship, a shared hope for a prosperous and yet eco-friendly and environment. Australia is their favorite team, except when you are playing India, but especially when you are competing for the Ashes. There are other attributes we share as well. The values of democracy, pluralism, and human dignity. The English language and the belief that at the simplest, most basic level, business, trade, and technology must change lives of those sections of society who need change the most. Our countries have been among the beneficiaries of globalization. Australia's economy has expanded strongly in the past quarter century. In this period, India's economic integration with the global business system too has strengthened. In the ultimate analysis, a process such as globalization is most meaningful when it helps the range of global stakeholders, from international corporations to local communities, whether in Australia or India. In recent years, India has renewed its commitment to a liberal, transparent, and globalized economy. In terms of openness to foreign capital and international investors, India is in the top league. Business sector after business sector, from aviation to mining to defense production, has had doors thrown open to global players and investors. Such steps have been complemented by other initiatives at home. India is in the midst of an infrastructure push of unusual urgency. A determined accretion in highway construction, a nationwide urban and rural broadband rollout, creating new railway and freight corridors, an ambitious program of modernizing ports, high-speed train networks in major urban centers, expanding air connectivity using upgraded as well as greenfield airports, industrial corridors that are gathering momentum, the buzz